Hello, all, welcome once again to Divine Invocations. The deck that I'm using right now is the Gita deck, the wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita. Let's go ahead and check out the general readings for today. Please keep in mind I do not do personal readings. Just three cards, one card at a time, please, calling in all the divine forces to help us read and understand the messages for today. Alright, let's see what we got for today. Okay, the first one is overcoming fear. Very interesting. That's too many, I'm sorry. Let's check out one card at a time, please. Okay, thank you. Wisdom. One more card, please. Okay, in fact, we have two cards, so I'll take that as well. So in total, we have four cards today. The first card is overcoming fear. Let's read out the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 40. It says, alright, the message says, Neya bhi krama nasosti pratyavaho na vidyate svalam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. No effort on the yoga path is ever lost, and nor can any obstacle ever hold one back forever. Just a little progress on this path can protect one from the greatest fears. As you can see, very symbolic meaning of how you need to overcome all your fears, irrespective of what the fear is. And quite interestingly, there are so many fears that we already have we don't know about. And we don't need to explore the fears, first of all. It's just like when you're looking at the surface of water, something pops up, whether it's under the water or something falls from the sky. What is more critical is what you're observing. Did you observe the object fall onto the water? Did you actually see, was that a sea snake that appeared in below the water, or what exactly happened? That's the observation. That's the observation that can help you skillfully understand whether you know what being, or was that an object, or what exactly happened which caused that great ripple in the water. So, what I mean to say is, there are times when there are certain fears which we were never aware about would appear. And that something is very triggering to us. We might get panic attacks, we might fear of the unknown of what's going to happen. But in the process of creating this mindset to understand how and what is happening, that's the actual pathway to get rid of the fear. I'll put that in a better way, in the sense that, say for example, I have never encountered a lion in my life. But what if suddenly a lion appears? I'm not ready for it, right? I might actually get very scared to the core. But that won't help me. That will frighten me, terrify me, and make me more nervous. But once I relate the idea of a lion or a tiger to my senses, because my senses are symbolic to that particular animal, so it's just a way for us to overcome a situation of discomfort. Let's put it that way. It's not fear, it's something which is discomforting, because the moment we hear the word fear, fear arises, right? But that's just a word. So the whole point is what we are feeling on the emotional aspect of our lives is more important to our evolution. So there are times when we will experience fear of a strange kind, and we will not be aware about so as to what needs to be done. And in any scenario in life when we face fears, what happens is, during the course of interpreting, processing, and understanding the fear, there's a pathway that needs to be taken that will help us to overcome what's going to come. So what I mean to say is you have the power to create the idea of not having fear, and that's one of the greatest strengths which will overcome fear. Just having the idea of I'll not be scared. Make sense? All right, the next card is wisdom. This form of Krishna was revealed by Krishna to Arjuna during Mahabharata, which was his most divine form, which was actually depicting all the rishis, sages, gurus, and the gods residing in him. That's from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, chapter 5, sorry, verse 16. All right, I must say there's another card which I just now saw, so I'll keep this here. I'll read it out for you as well. Now, this one is from chapter 5, verse 16. Jnanena tu tad ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesam adityavaj jananam prakasheti tat param. When one is illumined with the wisdom by which nescience is destroyed, then this knowledge lights up all things just as the sun reveals the world at dawn. Very symbolic meaning so as to the idea of an illumined mind. This is what this picture, this image represents, the illumined mind of Lord Krishna, which was revealed to Arjuna. This is what is our divine form. What I mean to say is, we are actually divine beings, and the divine beings are within us. So, in the process of letting our souls evolve, we learn to create a pathway to live a normal life. And that is what is yoga. Because when you are performing your regular duties, you are performing the act of karma. And once you keep doing it, that is actually a form of yoga as per Lord Krishna. Your mind will get illumined and you will be able to share the wisdom with the world. So understand that the knowledges and all the experiences that you had should not be contributing to your fear. All the memories and the experiences and the samskars that we already have should be contributing to create wisdom in our mind spirit space, because there is a mind spirit space through which we can connect with our own spirit, and that's within a pathway from the heart itself. All right, the surprise card that appeared was beyond scripture. That's again Lord Vishnu connected to Lord Brahma and goddess Lakshmi, Sri Vishnu's consort. All right, let's read out the verse that's from chapter 2, verse 46, which says, Yavan artha udapane sarvata sampluto dake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijnataha. It says, whatever purposes are served by a small pond are achieved by great reservoirs of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas are accomplished by one who knows God. So, there is a situation in which we read scriptures, we understand the meaning, and try to connect with it spiritually. And the whole point is our spiritual life is requiring some form of growth and development. Now, how do we do it is something which is of a personal choice, but this card is actually simplifying the idea that let not the religion or the idea of spiritual life complicate the mind and the shell of life in which we are living. It's a very simple pathway that the soul is already in that trance and it is already connected with the divine. All we need to do is tap that energy that is within us to help us connect with the rest. All right. So when you overcome fear, you will gain wisdom, which can help you understand the real essence of spiritual life. Next card is Lamp of Knowledge. That is from chapter 10, verse 10 11. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can attain me. Out of compassion for them dwelling in their hearts, I destroy the darkness, ignorance with the lamp of knowledge. A very, very interesting card which is depicting Sri Rama along with goddess Sita and Lakshmana. So you can understand the meaning from the verse itself. When we are offering our hearts to God, automatically we are connected with the divine, and with that divinity that we are creating, God shows his compassion towards us by living and residing in our hearts. He was already residing in our hearts, but we did not experience it. When we actually create wisdom and actually understand the idea of spiritual growth, we actually get the lamp of knowledge, which is from the God Himself. So, this wisdom that is created within the heart can pave the way for a better life. That is what is the meaning from this card. And the last card is Immovable Himalayas. Alright, let's go ahead and read out the verse. In fact, this is another avatar of Lord Vishnu. This is from chapter 10, verse 25. Maharshinam Bhrugur Aham Giram Asme Ekam Aksharam Yajnan Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi Sthavarnam Himalaya. This means of the great seers, I am Bhrigu of words. I am the syllable Om of sacrifices. I am Japa, the silent chanting of holy names. And amongst immovable things, I am the Himalaya mountains. So once the lamp of knowledge is created, there needs to be solidarity in the belief systems, the idea of our own existence, so that we can re-solidify our lives. Just like when we were a child, we were actually so playful, innocent, running around in the playground of life. And that's what exactly is the state we can achieve. Once we offer ourselves to God, we receive the divine wisdom, we actually give out the light to the world, which is the lamp of knowledge, which will make us immovable, unshakable like the Himalayas. We will be able to connect with the divine source from where all the energy pervades across the universe. So, a very symbolic card. This marks the end of the reading. Understand this fact that when you visualize something, I'll give an example. If you visualize a mountain when you close your eyes, that's what you become, because form is what you're creating when you're meditating. And when you create forms, there are two possible outcomes. Either the form is creating more and more positive experiences for you to absorb, or it is something which you might want to get out of. So when you are closing your eyes and sitting in meditative posture, itself is an indicator that you are connecting with your heart. And in the process of doing it, you are attaining a visualization in your mind. So when you, like for example, visualize a rose, you might want to visualize the color of it, the fragrance of it. So these are basic building blocks which can help you understand the value of meditation, which is missing at times in life. We don't need to meditate for like 30. In fact, I read an interesting thing about meditation today itself. It said you don't need to meditate for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or you do not need to completely seclude yourself. You can even meditate by standing. And the most basic form of meditation is observing your breathing. In fact, that's the basic foundation for us to start meditating. And when you close your eyes, you start visualizing something more positive, which can help you create more positive affirmations. Like when I close my eyes, I visualize the red fragrance of the red rose. I visualize that the fragrance is moving across the conference hall when I'm about to give a lecture, so that the people are actually some way or the other interested to hear what I'm talking about. So that was just an example. So understand that even when we are closing eyes, meditating, we are actually connecting with the divine, and don't feel afraid to ask from God, because He's somebody who's waiting for us to move to that zone. And the best way to connect is from our hearts itself. All right. So that's the message for today. Jai Shri Krishna.